attention 10, 15 years ago won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk, we're live. It is Tuesday night, the 28th day of the month of May. Man, I am off my rocker. Anyway, welcome back, man. It's been a while since we've had a chance to hang out for a live stream. Looking forward to finding out what's on your mind. More importantly, what's going on, what's happening in the news. I have another story that I want to share with you that was sent to me this evening from one of the RTD community members on some layoffs that, once again, it's a fairly large number. And so we're going to get to that. But more importantly, anything else happening in your area that's worthy of being mentioned, feel free to let me know in the chat or share a link with us, and I would love to get everybody up to date. But other than that, my name is Mike, the host of RT Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late-night YouTube talk show. And it's good to say, I don't know this for sure, but it's good to say that this is probably the only live stream that's streaming from Detroit, which makes me #1, and the only YouTube channel that talks about matters that are of importance, I believe. So welcome. As well as always, for those that are watching, if you're new to the channel, feel free to let me know where you're watching from in the chat. I'd love to give you a shout out. Or there's this number right here, 313-462-0027, where you can call in and share what's on your mind. So let me check in with the chat and see who is tuning in with us. Let me see. We got a chat from Spirit King. How you doing, my friend? We got New York Redneck says playa. Appreciate that, playa. Scott Robinson, how you doing? D, we got Hernan. We got Spirit says, can I share a deep thought I had today? Spirit, feel free to do so. Luke, how you guys doing? Says Mikey, I got to go to sleep. Just always love saying playa. Appreciate you, my friend. Sleep easy. Antonio, how you doing? Spirit, so it says, Mike, deep thought. Okay. UBI or UBA could pretty much end prostitution, strip clubs, and the porno industry. Those that still choose to do it would be so well paid they would be set for years. Spirit. I'm not sure if I should comment on that or let that go. But my initial thought is I don't see a handout actually being something that that line of industry, the individuals that use that as a form of income would ever be satisfied with the returns on their time, effort, and skill. So I think, as always, because there's no absolute amount or amount that will meet your greatest longings and desires, that you would say, okay, enough's enough. I'm set. I'm done. So I don't really see that being something that people would stop doing, because I imagine a lot of people are not there solely for the money. But who knows? We may find out. But yeah. Ace One, how you doing? Jeff, Tony, Clint, and says, let's buy silver. Probably the last chance to buy silver cheap. Deutsche Bank, last 60 days. Yeah, so Luke, good point there, man. So yeah, I've actually been catching up on a couple articles about Deutsche Bank and how they are basically the wraps out. You don't want to be holding no Deutsche Bank stock. And so I think it was one of the financial institutions or one of the credit agencies or something like that basically downgraded their stock to risky junk type of status or something of that nature, where my thought initially is that, knowing how problematic Deutsche Bank will be for the entire global system, I personally don't really see the need to hold shares in a company that's basically done for. So I personally wouldn't want to buy it even if it was going up, just because, of course, I mean, it's different philosophy for everybody, but if you're of high net worth individual, then you can gamble with it. But for us small fries, those out there that label themselves small fries, every dollar counts. And ultimately, so this could actually tie into what I wanted to talk about, was the risk reward aspect of things. And as we experience more of a economic slowdown, ultimately all or more of the risk falls upon the investors, the depositors, those that still partake in a system that is going to be the problem. So the banks always receive most of the rewards, and they shuffle the risk onto depositors and investors. So the question that I want to pose to you guys is, what is your risk tolerance? Given that there's no insurance policy you can take out on your stock portfolio. There's no FDIC on your bank account. We're going to see how that's tested on a global time frame. If everything goes on, or bank holidays are become a contagion type of event, we'll see if FDIC can back up what you think is there. So there's a lot of risk that people are going to be experiencing, and so yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people. But Deutsche Bank, I personally, in my opinion, I would run from it, or as most traders do, short the hell out of it and profit on the way down. But that's just me. Tony, it says, Morgan Stanley issued a recession warning for us, for U.S. economy, maybe a rocky summer going to fall. Yeah, and that's another thing. When Morgan Stanley, one of the too big to fail institutions, have an analyst that comes out there that shares truth and that nature, I'm thinking like, they probably are shorting the markets, or playing it in their favor, of course, to where they're going to profit from the downfall of the global economy anyway. So I really find it interesting that the banks can snitch on the sales, because they're going to be the reasons behind this recession ultimately, and going to be ones most impacted, because whatever happens will definitely impact the banking sector, like it did last time where they needed a bail out. But this time it's built in that they're going to be bailed in. So, yeah. Tony Blaylock says, how can I buy 1 gram notes from you, and how much? Warren Gregory Thomas, good question there. And so if you're interested in the 1 gram notes, of which I don't have any handy, just go to rethinkingthedollar.com/store, and you can find all the information there. And so the notes there, I think, they're according to the gold price, but I think they're like $10 or something like that now. And so that's because all the costs I have to take on for getting them into my possession and getting them out there to you. And so at a cheaper rate, if you become a part of the gold team, you can get them at a more favorable rate for yourself. But yet, it just takes more time to have them shipped to you. But anyway, go to the store, rethinkingthedollar.com/store, and you can get more information there, my friend. It says, you up to your fun and games again. What are we talking about? It says, Sears at my mall went out of business, replaced with arcade. I'm in Southern California, and the operations union and work recently has become very slow. Blake, that's not good to hear, my friend. Yeah, I personally, just this weekend, rode past a couple different malls that were closed, like completely abandoned. One of them is being torn down, not too far from me. And then along the road, just did a little weekend trip to Chicago this weekend, and I saw a mall there that was bare. So I'm thinking like, man, like there's a lot of commercial real estate just empty, man, with lease will build to suit and all types of stuff like that. I'm thinking like, man, it's a lot of empty stores, man. But surprisingly, there's a lot of people who are still building actual houses, especially along crowded roads, where I'm not really understanding who wants to live on a major highway with a nice house at that. But that's everybody to their own thing, man. It says Deutsche Bank will be on life support until the big crash. I agree 100%. It says my risk is to hold all my cards close to my chest until the reset. Tony, I hear you, my friend. I understand that. So yeah, when it comes to risk, that's really been on my mind, because I'm thinking like, as we hear more about this trade situation, which will impact employment, which will impact the financial sector in total, which will then impact employment, which will then impact those that are able to save. And so it's going to be just one chain after the next. And that's all, man, it's just a lot of risk that people are taking on. And it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't see it coming and may not be quite in tune on how to make it through, because they, either have not saved enough to get through a small window of time, or if things are completely chaotic as far as there being a stock market crash, and then from there panic ensues, and then people start running to banks, all that stuff like that. A lot of people don't have a little bit of cash on hand as well, so it's unfortunate. But when it comes to long-term savings, that's the biggest thing. Like, most people don't have small increments of metals. So I personally am trying to do my best to tell people to get your weight up, and definitely think about life beyond this current paradigm that it's coming to an end. And so we got here, it says, as I say on my channel, I am stacking silver and focusing on water filtration. Kevin, that's the good stuff, man. Share with us some reliable sources in reference to the water filtration systems, because I don't think a lot of people know about that. I have a couple of small units and a big water unit that I drink out of daily, but not too many people have an emergency type of situation. So Kevin, feel free to put some links in the channel for us, my friend. Direct us back to where you have done your homework at. I love to share it. It says, why does a 400,000 home cost 800,000 to pay off? Chuck, great question, man. It's the whole idea of usury interest, high excessive interest rates that compounds over time. And that's the whole banking model itself. That's how the system came into existence, is to banks have the right to extend credit out of nothing and then charge interest on top of it. And if you don't pay back, they get to keep your physical property. So that's a sham on top of a sham that is wrapped up in a sham. So yeah. Hi, Mike. Says, Scott, I manage a gutter company, and it's really starting to slow down. People are not spending money the same as last year. It's starting to look like 08, 09 all over again. Get your weight up now. Yeah, man. Get your weight up now. Most of the tools that was in Sears are now in Lowe's stores, and now Lowe's is not doing it at all. Yeah, that's the thing. Our economy is based upon consumption, as far as people being willing to go out and to purchase goods and services for their homes. More importantly, it's more for their luxury as opposed to necessity. So I think more people will definitely stop buying things they don't need or that don't really gratify their immediate desires. And so toolkits, most people going to just go look on Craigslist and get your used set as opposed to go out and buy a brand new set. At least that's what I would do, as opposed to going and buying that. Ace One, appreciate the super chat, my friend. It says JCPenney stock under $1, dead shopping malls. Yeah, I think it's JCPenney, Kohl's, even though Target, and Kohl's. I mean, all those stores, all those clothing stores. Apart from if you might know the differences, but to me they're all in the same category. They're all carrying similar lines of clothing, shoes, and all that house goods. But once again, apart from your loyalty to those stores, everybody now more so is going to be looking for a deal, going to be looking for something cheap. And unfortunately, cheap will probably come from either some type of refurbished, used, or bargain shopping, such as like some Craigslist, or more importantly, a Walmart or Amazon. So I think a lot of people are going to shift their small gadgets and all those type of things you would run down to the local store and get to buy it on Amazon. Because I know personally, me, all the little knick-knack stuff, I look on eBay first and then Amazon second, and then go to Walmart for emergency situation. Beyond that, I would never go to another store because it costs too much in comparison to what you get it from somewhere else. So yeah, JCPenney, I wouldn't necessarily be confident in any of those retail clothing stores anymore. That's just, yeah, I think that's, not a good investment if you ask me. He says, first time on your stream, how's it going, everybody? Yankee Stacking, how you doing, my friend? Appreciate you tuning in tonight. I think Yankee Stacking, is that, you be on Instagram. I've noticed a large community on Instagram that I have like actual auctions on live streams on Instagram. It's kind of cool to watch because there's a lot of crafty coins out there that people be moving. They're moving their weight on Instagram. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. We got an article from Spirit. Okay, let me get to some of these articles. I apologize. Let me pull it up. And as always, the number above my head, 313-462-0027. Give me a call, and we can talk about what's going on. If there's any stories or whatnot you want to share, feel free to do so. So here's an article here. Let's pull this article up here and see what's talking about. So this is from CBS News. It says Trump's China tariffs hike will cost average U.S. family $831 a year. So that's a lot higher than the last figure I came across, which it was about $500 or $600. So, and I imagine if this is on CBS News, that $831 is very conservative. That's very mild in comparison to what it might actually cost, because I doubt they would say Trump's China tariffs likely would cost the average family $1,600. Like, that'll get a lot of people's attention. $800, you'd be like, maybe. But just some of the highlights here, it says higher U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods are, quote, likely to create large economic distortions and reduce U.S. tariffs revenues, according to economists at the Federal Reserve. So I'm wondering, like, is that an actual legitimate statement there, or are they trying to shoot something back at Trump, saying, is that like a hidden message from Trump or something like that, to get people's attention so that they can shift the blame from them once President Trump starts shifting the blame back on them for not cutting rates fast enough? It says the latest round of 25% tariffs on $200 billion in certain Chinese imports will cost U.S. households $106 billion a year. So a lot of that newer tariffs has to do with electronic goods, TV, cell phones, all the electronic gadgets that we here in America don't need, but for some reason, because of how the trend has been going for several years, every cell phone company comes out with a new phone now every 6 months, give or take, it looks like. And they come out with a new line of a tablet, new line of a PC, a new line of a washer and dryer. And so what this right here tells me is that people will start bypassing those next editions of phones. Like, for example, I'm not sure if iPhone 10 is doing all that well, but by August, they're going to be announcing iPhone 11. And so the question will be, will iPhone 11 sales be what they have been in the past? And it's good to say no. But you can still have those loyal fans that go out and finance the phone. But it's good to say Apple's iPhone 11 will be down, which means Apple's going to have to do some layoffs, make some adjustments or whatever. So, but we have a call. Let's find out what's going on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Kevin, Sarasota.
Kevin from Sarasota. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind this evening?
I'm doing very well, sir, man. Thank you very much for taking my call, man. You are one of the most enlightening people on the internet right now, man.
Thank
Not
you, sir.
just Detroit.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend. So what's troubling you tonight, or what's exciting you? Either one.
Well, I just left a comment about the silver and water filtration. I called you a few months ago about the dilemma that I had giving my niece and nephews a silver coin and how they would react to it, saying, this is just $1.
Yeah.
And, I decided that I kind of gave in and I got them $25 Amazon cards, man, just to...
Yeah.
To me it was worth it because at least they weren't offended, and you know what? And I still bought 3 coins for myself.
Yeah.
So it was a win-win situation. I get the coins for myself. But no, man, and the water filtration, man, that is so important, man. I just encourage everybody to find some way to, filter water in quantities that would sustain you and your family. I know there's that whole life straw thing that's in my bug out bag, but I'm very lucky where I live here. I have a little bit of a water source behind the property here that's not the cleanest, but I've definitely developed I'm using some reclaimed food grade buckets that I get from a local restaurant, man, and I'm just making these water filtration systems, and I'm offering them people, but that's not what I'm here to say. But it is on my channel, and but I mean, water filtration, man, that's going to be super important.
So do you sell some of those systems that you put together yourself?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, do me a favor, man. I would love to connect you with the community. So I would love for you to drop a link to your store, in the description. I'll let it go through and definitely tell people to go check it out, man, because I want to support you for, what you're doing, because you're helping people prepare for possible scenarios down the line. So I definitely would love to support you, my friend. So drop a link in the chat, and I would definitely encourage people to go our way.
Well, I definitely got like a video demonstration on my channel, but as far as getting it across the nation, man, it requires sand, activated charcoal, diatomaceous earth, and various layers throughout buckets. So it's going to be extremely heavy, and to ship it, it's so expensive. I'd be more than willing to tell people how to do it.
Okay.
But I mean, if they absolutely insist, I'll get it shipped to them. But it's shipping is not cheap.
Yeah.
So I just basically deliver it here locally for the most part. But if someone wants it in Seattle, I get it to them, but they just got to understand it's going to cost at least 10 times, what it would normally be. But, I mean, thank you very much. But I just think if people want to know, I'll be more than happy to tell them how I did it, just to spread the word. They just got to obtain these items, and you got to buy all the items in bulk. It's not like you can just get the amount you need for one. So, if they want to build themselves, they're still looking at about $100.
Okay.
But
I think it'd be worth it, though.
It would, man, because this thing gets a lot of water done. In about an hour, it'll go through 5 gallons, and I just run it through 3 times, and it's dingy water to crystal clear, bro. It works. So that's water and silver.
Yeah. Well, good deal, man. I appreciate you for chiming in. Definitely the instruction video you put together. Drop in the link for me, man. I'd love to have people go check it out.
All right, thank you, Mike. Man, you have a wonderful night, man, and keep it up.
I will, my friend. Thank you for your support. Have a good night.
Later.
Yeah, man. Good stuff there. Good stuff there. It's good to learn new skills, man. Definitely, water system will be something worthwhile. I definitely am. Every now and then I like to tinker and tamper with small gadgets, because when I start, I just get obsessed and I want to do it bigger and better. So I definitely would like to check it out. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's keep the chat moving right along. And so let me check in with the chat, get caught up. I know I'm well behind. And taxation is theft. We got a couple comments. Deutsche Bank on the verge of collapse. So what else? So let me get to this story that someone sent to me. Let me pop it up. And so this is one of them stories that is very telling of what's happening internationally. And so this is from News4Jax. I don't know, where, I think Jacksonville, Florida, I'm assuming, but it originated at CNN. And it says GE aims to slash 1,000 jobs in France. And so what really caught my eye is the fact that we all know, or some of us know, about what's happening in France right now with the whole yellow vest movement, and how that's factored into higher taxes and gas costs, and as well as a lack of employment. So to have 1,000 jobs slashed from a worldwide corporation is not good. But as always, whenever I see an initial number, I'm always mindful of the fact that that's their initial announcement, to make it seem like that's going to help them in some form or fashion to try to get things back on track. But I do believe that first number is probably 10% or 15% of what the real official number might end up being a year from now or whatever. So just basically, this is General Electric revealed plans on Tuesday to slash up to 10,044 jobs in France in a bid to halt the downward spiral of the conglomerate's power business. So they're looking to halt the downward spiral, as if like that's really going to make a difference, because GE, I think as a company itself, is no longer what it used to be. They're not even listed as one of the top corporations anymore on the Dow. So yeah, they're in big trouble, my friend. And so they said they have 16,000 internationally, 16,000 employees in France, including 4,300 people who work at the Belfort alone. So yeah, this is just the beginning, I believe. So this 1,000 is going to be small peanuts in the bucket of people that will be laid off from GE. Because I think this next little recession / downturn will probably take GE out altogether. So that's just my thoughts on that. Why? Because GE over the last, they've been around for over a century. They're one of the oldest companies, but yet it's unfortunate that I think competition, as well as their inability to shift and to innovate beyond their competition, is reason why they're downfall, because they're they're a big, heavy beast that's hard to trim without causing disruptions in the market because they're a 100-year-old company. So, yeah, I feel for those at GE because that 1,000 is just the beginning. Just the beginning. It says, folks, start a side hustle that can replace your 9 to 5. Hit up Noble Gold, Lear Financial, or Swiss America. Subscribe to General Sunte's journal. Andy, good stuff, my friend. Yankee Stacking said, my prepping 6-month worth of food, water, and purification systems, and tri-fuel whole house generator, tri-fuel, firearms, and ammo wood. Okay, that's a game plan right there. It says government will own everything until they are ready for the next system. The recession has now begun, Mike. If people haven't started prepping yet, they'll start leaving this way too late. I agree 100%. So all the indicators, according to what they've been using for the past recessions, have all flashed red. All the alarm bells are going off. Inverted this and that. Dow dropped this many points. Now it's just a matter of that last hoorah to get everyone's attention. And so I know I'm more than confident that those that are older in age, those that have put the most into the system, that they themselves are probably a little on ease as far as keeping track of the gyrations in the equities markets, because every month they're either withdrawing from their portfolio or they're getting updates on what their current holdings are. And I can imagine if you put your entire life into a system that's based on a promise, that's all in digits, that's on somebody else's ledger, that's subject to the international market, I can imagine that could be very nerve-wracking. I could imagine. And so it's one of the things where, it's going to impact a lot of people. But that's why, me personally trying to just tell people, rethink or redefine your thought process in reference to how this system is set up, because it's set up to where we're not a part of the plan. We're not on the winning side according to how all this stuff is structured out from all the lack of information we never received in school. Like, I'm still amazed at how we can go from kindergarten to a college degree, and apart from you studying specifically a certain area, you still need to go to someone to file your taxes and then have someone invest on your behalf. Like when you think the two most important things with your money you would learn in school, if they wanted you to know. But of course they don't. So you got to go find out for yourself. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello? Going once? Going twice? Anybody there? All righty. Appreciate you for calling in. Give me a call back, and hopefully everything goes well. We can get you on here. So, yes, keep it moving right along. Keep it moving right along. Jeff Doris is right on time. Jeff, I got a feeling that this article I'm going to click on, it's not a good news. It's not a good story. Oh, damn. Yeah, this ain't a good story. This ain't a good story at all. I'm going to share it, though, just because Jeff looks out for us over here. All right, so this is what just come across the news feed from our RTD reporter on the streets, Mr. Jeff. It says from CNBC, it says Dress Barn, CVS, Pier 1, and Top Shop shuttering stores, pushing planned closures to 7,150. So, yeah. So, okay, I remember Dress Barn, for those that hadn't had a chance to watch, did a little video on Dress Barn, closing 650 stores, which equaled 6,800 employees. So let me just do some math, some quick math real quick. If there's 7,100 store closures planned, let me see if they tally up, because I doubt they really tally up those numbers approximately as to how many employees might be laid off. But I can do that math easy, because I guess that each store in rotation of all shifts might have an average of, say, 10 employees on a low end. So what's 7,100 times 10? Any quick mathematicians out there? I'm going to say 71,500 unemployed. And so let me know if my math was right off the top of my head. I think that's about right. Just adding a zero, basically. Yeah, right. So I'm saying about 71,000 people will be unemployed. So this would have probably been a much more like a eye-opening / jaw-dropping article had they estimated, said Dress Barn, CVS, Pier 1, Topshop, shuttering stores, pushing planned closures, and laying off 71,000 employees approximately. That would have got, that's, 7150 should get everyone's attention, but it would definitely got my attention to hear those type of numbers. But yeah, man, this is never a good thing. And these are just, 4 stores. That's just 4 stores. So approximately 71,000 people. But yet, by August, they're going to say, yeah, jobs numbers are good. We hired 100,000 people in the job economy. So, yeah, those U3 numbers, boy, I tell you, something else, aren't they? Jeff, appreciate you, my friend, for sharing that. But as always, the phone lines are not ringing off the hook. Therefore, I have to fill this time with some meaningful chat, so I just happen to rant. So if anybody wants to shut my mouth up, give me a call. It says, Einstein says, the economic anarchy of capitalist society as it exists today is the real source of evil. I am convinced there is only one way, the establishment of a socialist economy. Spears, you shared that before, because I remember commenting on that socialist aspect, of which I don't necessarily agree with it, but I believe it's coming. And so I think as this debt-based system through credit extension is coming to a halt because people are tapped out. There's not much room for growth anymore if people don't borrow. Therefore, capitalism as it's become of a debt-based model, no longer having to have a reserves or savings to invest. You can just borrow and invest. Those days are coming to a halt. Therefore, the next option that the government will be able to push upon us is more allowance type of opportunities, more government assistance, more government aid. The government will be coming to our rescue because they allowed this problem to exist intentionally. And this is all designed to push us further into a one world, one currency, one everything, one governing rule type of government structure, which is all a part of the plan. So nothing is by accident. Yeah, man. Kevin, my pleasure, my friend. Just went out to get a 6-pack. What did I miss? Low blood pressure. Went to get a 6-pack. It says, wrong. The 71,000 cannot apply for unemployment due to the being part-time, so 0 jobs lost by the official numbers. Sky Country. Good stuff, man. I appreciate you sharing that one. So, yeah, man, this is what's going on out here. This is what's going on out here, and it's not going to be pretty. And so what else I want to talk about? Question for the chat. It says, what do you make of the 90-to-1 ratio that gold and silver hit today? Yeah, man. Okay, I don't mind sharing my thoughts on that because, like I've mentioned before, if we are all in agreement that those markets are manipulated heavily, and the true price of those two asset classes, which are money, technically, the banking sector as well as the government have to continue to propagate any type of manipulation to keep the possession of those metals out of the people's hands in totality. Just because if people start running the metals, then that means that a little bit of or lack of confidence in paper currencies will continue outside of what governments are doing automatically with de-dollarizing their reserve holdings. But the goal is to never allow gold or silver to be labeled as money to where people run to it. In actuality, gold and silver are money, and everything that we use, digits or paper, are all claims to it. So when it comes to that ratio, I personally don't pay attention to it because historically, it's always been 1 to 15, 1 to 16. And currently out of the ground, silver is becoming more of a scarcer item because it's being utilized a lot for a lot more cases than gold. So that ratio is not realistic. So I'm personally happy. I actually like the ratio because it allows me to acquire more and to definitely, I'm becoming more of a gold person as well. So to be able to get both of those at cheaper prices, I'm excited. It really makes me happy. So I hope it goes to 101. I don't mind. Like, I never focus on price. I focus on possession. So that's just my 2 cents there. And then speaking of more of that, I'm still trying to iron out the kinks. And by the end of this week, I should have everything up and running. But for me, like, having been able to purchase my own product at a much cheaper price is very beneficial for me to get my weight up. So once again, I got a 1 ounce RTD Scary George here. And so more information will be out, but yet I personally would love to be able to put more of these coins in people's possession at a cheaper price, because it'll be hard for people to be enticed to go buy silver as a hedge if the paper price is at 40 or 50. People will be scared it's going to drop like it did last time. So just a little bit of plug here on the Scary George. As you guys can see, me hold it there. But it's a hand poured, nice, thick, heavy 999 silver coin. So these boys are, I call them collector's pieces, because there'll only be a total of about 400 made, of which, I, of course, got a couple already. So, but yeah, when those things are ready to rock and roll, hopefully you guys, can utilize the cheap prices to get your possession up, because I got a couple designs I want to roll out, but I won't roll out part 2 until part 1 is gone. So yeah, more news to come on that one, man. But it excites me to have a distorted ratio. So I'm okay with it. There's no winning side. We are all slaves to the system. Tony, I agree. Jeff, we got another article. Let's find out what this is about. We got a couple articles here. Let me get to these articles. So I'll see how Jeff do it. Jeff, he just dropped articles for me to shut up. All right, Jeff, I'll see how you do me. Just playing. So here's an article here. This is interesting. It says, everything is under scrutiny. 38,000 layoffs across the auto industry may only be the beginning. Well, duh, Tyler. I mentioned that a while ago. Because everything in the auto industry, unfortunately, starts in my city. And that's where I don't find this to be a story to take lightly. And so it says, automakers can't help but acknowledge a global recession in the industry after a decade of growth. Let's see, decade of growth. Okay. I think looking back, we're gonna notice that this wasn't growth when the interest rates were at damn near zero and people were forced to borrow in order to take advantage of the debt system we're in. But anyway, as a result, they are slashing payroll across the board, according to Bloomberg. Countries like China, United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, and United States all seen at least 38,000 job cuts over the last 6 months in the automotive sector. And it's all meant to sweep cost reductions. So 38,000. So here we have a nice little list of all the companies that are making some adjustments. Jeez. Okay, so Ford, 7,000, just for starters. Nissan, 4,500, CEO said, had hit rock bottom. Honda, 3,500 from Honda. Daimler, 10,000 with an asterisk mark, which means not sure. Tesla, not announced. See, I'm hearing a lot about Tesla now. Really, I heard they slashed prices on the Model X and S, whatever they are. Several thousand, which is like, man, like you're just really, you're trying to just get a thing away for free. I get one then. Ford in Germany, 5,000. Ford in China, not available. Audi, not available. 10% of management. Tesla, 3,000 jobs. Nissan, 700. Jaguar, 4,500. General Motors, 14,000. Yeah, man. And it's the thing. This is just the beginning, in my opinion, because once again, when things really slow down and people's line of work is in question, no one's going to go out and buy a damn car or a truck. And then when gas prices go up, everybody who has a truck going to be looking to get out of that damn thing. So, oh well to driving gas guzzlers. Yeah, not good, man. Not good. Let me get to some more articles, man. More articles. There's some more stuff here I missed. But as always, people, the number 313-462-0027 is always, there's close to it, but there's close to about 100 people watching right now. And I see a lot of familiar names. And of course, some new ones. I appreciate you for joining the chat. But it's not much of a live talk if we have a lot of people that choose to remain anonymous and just, enjoy the back and forth, but don't chime in via the chat. So let me know where you're watching from. Let me who's bold enough to just jump in there and just give a shout out to where they from and share with us their name and whatnot, so we can acknowledge you and welcome you to the fold. We're friendly over here. We're friendly. It says Mike Zero Hedge reports members of plunge protection team resigns. Yeah, Donald. So yeah, I read an article about that, and so I think it was from Mr. Biggs Weir mentioning that by one of the plunge protection team leading person quitting or resigning right in time for what's coming in August or September with the stock market and how they will not be looking to save the day. So I once again. Let me type in this plunge protection team. Let's see what pops up. See if it made primary news. Did it make news? Nope, it did not make. Unfortunately, that article, of course, comes from Zero Head, so I probably got to go there for the source. But once again, I think a lot of people might be choosing to get the hell out of Dodge so that their names aren't associated with this whole economic slowdown. So I don't see it on the main page. So if anybody come across the article, feel free to throw it at us, and I'll definitely click on it and read it. It says, Tony Black says, 1 ounce or 1 gram? Question. Not sure what that's for. If you're referring to the coin, it's 1 ounce. 1 OZ. We got Carol from Kingsbury, Texas. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for chiming in, letting us know you're watching from. We got Mike, love your show, bro. Carlos from Australia. We got someone from the Down Under joining us. We got Clark Kent from Tennessee, West Side. King Spring from Tampa, Florida. Truth is Freedom, Florida. Clearwater, Florida. Kenneth Gibson just got in. Man, that's love. So I appreciate you guys, man, joining the chat and introducing yourself to everybody. Welcome to the family. The goal here is basically just to connect everybody. And as always, like we had Kevin earlier, who's well-versed and knowledgeable in the water filtration system, dropped his link in here. So if you guys want to learn, which I do, I'll check it out and learn something. So let's educate each other. That's the most that we can ask for. But let me get to this call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, hello, Mike. Good to hear from you. My name is Lucas. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Lucas from Connecticut. How you doing, my friend? Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind tonight? What excites you? What troubles you? Either one.
A lot excites me and a lot troubles me.
Okay.
But it's good to hear how easy it is to call in. But I'm calling in for multiple reasons. I guess mostly just to hear your opinion and a couple thoughts that I have on my mind.
Okay, go ahead.
So I currently live in Connecticut. I work in Massachusetts. And I'll be moving to the North Florida area soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a manufacturing engineer, and I know that these positions are slowly dissipating from our country.
Mm-hmm.
But so I work for a subsidiary of the military.
Okay.
So my position currently is pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been thinking of other positions outside of the military industrial complex,
mm-hmm.
and I find that the jobs within it are just so recession proof. And while I was venturing or deciding to potentially venture outside of it, I was thinking staying within it is just that much safer.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Currently I'm working for a subsidiary of the military, and I'm thinking of working even closer to it. While I morally might feel opposed to it, I feel personally it might be a much safer option.
Yeah, and so and from what you've described, it sounds like where you're working or the line of work you're in will definitely be in high demand, given the fact that whether we are in war or not, or whatever that particular manufacturers produce, it's going to be needed. Therefore, they're going to need hands on deck. Now, I imagine that even if there is some type of slowdown and it impacts that sector, they still might decide to, cut back a little bit on hours or departments. Therefore, if you choose to stay in that line of work, do the best you can to try to work up the ladder since you're going to be there. But then also, in my opinion, I would say, in the evening, if you can, definitely utilize your skill sets and your gifts to do something else to help the community and help other people so that you're hedging against that as well. So just my thoughts there.
Oh, absolutely. I own crypto. I own gold. I own silver. And actually, one of the things I was mainly calling about is I've been thinking about seeking out financial advice, but I know most people who have a title of financial advisor don't truly understand inflation. And so I know, I think it's Dr. Mark Skidmore from Michigan University who has a 7% calculation on inflation based on the same, so I'm very into math, very into calculations, very into the true facts of our economy. And I believe, although the Fed is telling us we have below 2% inflation, we can obviously, within the stores at our supermarkets and our housing, real estate prices, we can see that we are actually far exceeding the 2% inflation, which they claim we cannot reach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I, as a person who could potentially contribute and exceed the full match on my 401k, as a person who has been over the past 5 years studying markets, the economy, reading books, I believe that buying a undervalued asset is far greater than buying an asset which has been thriving for a long time, which would be equity, for example, or even the housing market. So while I'm a person who sees all my coworkers who are also fairly well paid slowly entering the housing market, I have to find myself, I'm 26 years old, I find myself hesitant. I want to buy housing, but I see myself in a far better position contributing a smaller amount to my 401k than what a financial advisor would consider appropriate. I'd rather take a larger sum of that money, which should be contributed to 401k, and I'm buying metals. I'm buying crypto. I'm feeling like these 20th century economic views are not going to be the leading factors in the 21st century. We are seeing data that is being pushed. We're not even pushed, but like
just promoted.
Promoted is the right view. So they're being promoted by all these financial advisors who I believe don't have a true understanding of inflation. They're telling you, put all your money in a 401k, which, by the way, you don't have access to for the next 40 years, and just hope and pray.
Yeah.
And our markets they've been at a 10-year bull cycle, and I'm as a young person encouraged to buy the top and continue to buy all the way to the bottom and then continue to buy all the way to the top. But I believe it's much safer to buy an asset that's been hated for the last 7 to 10 years.
Yeah. Hey, man, I agree 100%. And, from everything that you shared to me, it sounds like you're a well-informed and diversified individual to where it sounds like you've done a great job of educating yourself to where you feel confident and comfortable with some of the things you've done, anticipating a shift or a paradigm shift as well as a change in the future. So it sounds like, according to my opinion, I'm not an advisor whatsoever. I just tend to go the opposite direction of all the sheep or the herd, which would, I believe, have me to think for myself as opposed to go according to the mainstream narrative, similar to what you're doing. So sound like you feel confident in what you're doing, my friend. So I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. And of course, we're going to find out whether we're right or wrong. But according to and my model is everything that we're experiencing now has already happened in every country around us, which ultimately ended in the currency being the primary problem for people. How can it not happen to us? And if everything is denominated in Federal Reserve notes, then that means there's going to be problems with that stuff as well. So, yeah. But hey, I want to get to more calls. So I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts, and definitely good to hear of people out there, younger people out there that's in tune and definitely getting their weight up as well, man. So keep doing what you're doing, boss.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, have a good night.
To hear from you.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. It's really exciting to hear, younger individuals, both men and women, call in or email or just, chime in or highlight or chat or whatever, just saying, hey, I'm doing this, thinking about doing that. I'm like, man, right or wrong, you're thinking, you're doing something outside of what you were taught or not taught, and you've got some information for yourself. And the biggest thing is you're willing to take risk upon yourself, as opposed to shifting the risk onto someone that's certified according to some institute that's supposed to be operating in your best interest. So I think that right there is noble, that you're able to critically think for yourself, hopefully. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Q from Chicago. How you doing, man?
Q, I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing, boss man?
Not too bad, man.
Appreciate the video, too.
No worries, man. I'm trying to get some more shots here, bro. I saw someone ask about, some of the prices and stuff, so, I'm out here still trying to work those out for you guys.
Yeah.
What I want to talk... Go ahead, man.
No, so definitely, yeah, keep us posted, because I'm interested in finding out from the apartment buildings that you were showing or whatever, some of those prices there, and some of the details as to how long. And of course, you may not be able to find that out, but if you had the time to set up like a walkthrough to speak with a realtor to get some of the inside scoop, that would be some good stuff as well, if you had time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, do you want me to go back to the same area, or you want me to go to a different area?
Or whatever. I mean, whatever your schedule, whatever you doing, just I don't know, don't go out of your way. But yet, if you are curious, if you're checking out pricing, and you do want to do a walkthrough or something like that, just to get a further in-depth look, I think that'd be great from an inside standpoint as well, just to pricing over there in general, because we don't really hear much about that stuff on this side anyway. So.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll see what I can do, man. No worries.
Appreciate it.
But what I want to do, man, is go back to what I told you. I said you can mark Tesla to zero, bro. Mark that company to zero.
Hold on, what company was that?
Tesla.
Oh, yeah. You've mentioned that. Yeah. So my question is, I haven't really followed them much, but I mean, is it Elon Musk is the problem, or they just not profitable, or what's going on, man? What in your thoughts?
Okay, well, you have to. Okay, so when over the years, a lot of people have been writing a lot of articles about Tesla. These were people that they call, quote unquote, Tesla haters or Elon Musk doubters. But these were people who were actually professionals inside of the auto industry. So from my understanding, one of the Japanese have set up a very interesting way. I don't remember exactly what their whole manual is called.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody who's better in the auto industry could quote it better. But the Japanese developed this whole system for building and developing cars.
Mm-hmm.
And Tesla decided to go its own way and not follow that model, which is perfectly fine. But it created issues for the company to be able to adequately produce vehicles properly, or to the standard that the rest of the automakers are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Add on top of that, you have a lot of sourcing problems. So Tesla relies a lot on rare earths, which, if you look at what's going on between the United States and China with the Chinese threatening rare earth bans, that will also inadvertently impact the Tesla company for their batteries.
Yeah.
So you have that front, and then you also have how Tesla is able to maintain I like to call it the illusion of solvency, where they were basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. So they were taking the initial deposits of everybody who was booking or wanting to book in advance for a Tesla, and they were using it to pay off investors and pay off bills and things like that.
Yeah, interesting. So what's your prediction on Tesla in the next year?
That's loud. That's hard to even say. We see what's going on. We can see the Fed. Like you said, we don't know when or how, but they're definitely going to cut rates, whether that be between the end of the year, when they're going to start up QQQQE.
Yeah.
or whatever they're going to start up, we don't really know. So is Tesla going to be one of the aims of buying, or this new purchasing program that the Fed's going to launch? No one really knows.
Yeah.
As far as Elon Musk, I think we might see either him resign, or we could see some kind of massive scandal or some kind of massive investigation that might rock that company, which might force him out of the CEO position.
Yeah, So I've heard about the push to have him removed anyway, or step down, or move to the side, because he's off the cuff with his. He's a very out of the box type of guy, and it's unfortunate that for a publicly traded company, you can't really be sharing your personal views and viewpoints and out there, on Joe Rogan, hitting joints like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not a good image for the company. So he did himself wrong with that, but it's his baby ultimately. So I think even if they remove him, he's such a ingenious type of individual that he'll probably start another company that'll be more successful than Tesla. And so, once you get to that point of status, you are able to probably bounce back like that. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, but at some point you got to think about, what Musk has done. He's done a lot of illegal things.
Yeah.
To keep that company afloat. The merger between Solar City and Tesla, that was an illegal move. Everybody was crying foul about that.
Mm-hmm.
To divert funds to Solar City to keep that company propped up. So when you talk about when Tesla goes down and Elon Musk goes down, you're not talking about the fall of Tesla. You got to talk about the fall of Solar City. You got to talk about the fall of Boring Company, and then you got to talk about ultimately the fall of Tesla. And then again, Elon Musk, when he was tweeting out things about a target goals about what Tesla was going to do, he was doing this in order to prop up the stock price of Tesla, in order to avoid that a specific price point floor, in order to avoid the $920 million of convertible debt that needs to be paid off by the company.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of handed back tricks that he was doing in order to keep the share price of Tesla afloat, so that the company doesn't have to pay those bonds, or the convertible bonds or debt.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, Q, man, I appreciate you calling in and sharing the video, man. Keep it coming, man. I think the people are definitely enjoying it and getting a chance to see and get a little bit of a travel type of vlog to it as well. So appreciate you, my friend, and for keeping us in mind. And other than that, we're about to get ready to log off for this evening. So I appreciate you always checking in with me, my friend. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, man. Take
All
care,
right,
Bob.
be good, man.
All right, later.
Yeah, man. So that is what it is for this evening. It's been almost an hour. So we've got it in this evening. Appreciate you guys for hanging in there with me. And as always, you know how I do it. I don't ask for anything. But one thing I do enjoy and I think helps the channel out is if you've been enjoying the back and forth, and you feel like donating, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button beneath this video right here. Right along here, probably right around here somewhere, I think. And just hit that thumbs up button and show your support for the channel. Appreciate that. It's always good to have people, share their thoughts. And if you want to do thumbs down, that's fine as well. Either way, whatever floats your boat, but you're contributing. So I appreciate that. And as well, be back here tomorrow night. Same time, same place. And definitely going to keep it moving right along. And more importantly, hoping to have out information in reference to the coin, the Scary George. But I got a couple. It's in my hand. Order some more, but want to put in your guys' hands. And so I got a couple designs I want to share. So more details coming with this. It'll be ready to distribute shortly. Got to work out the logistics and stuff, but it'll be ready for those that are interested in getting your weight up physically with a collector's piece, because they're one of a kind and there won't be many of them. So anyway, be blessed, be safe. Have a good evening. See you guys later. And it's always fun to hang out with you guys. Have a good evening. Peace.